So this is our red O battery. So this one already has a resistor built into it.
Oh, it got power.
Before we get too far down this road, let's jump back in time and tell you what happened. We are on our solar journey. At some point, we hope to have our entire farm and future cabin and future house all on solar. But we want to learn how to do this before we invest a lot of money and a lot of time. The solar system that we're developing here right now will handle our RV and a couple of other items continuously. We have 1,200 watts of solar panels that are on a self-tracking, they're on two self-tracking arrays, which makes them about 40% more efficient. In our little test to this point, they made them about 43% more efficient, and that's over an average of a day, or an average of a sunny day. Towards the end of this video, I'll give you an update on this solar tracker, and also we'll leave a link at the end of the video for the full install. In this video, we'll be installing the SunGoldPower 3000 watt 24 volt inverter charger. It's a mouthful. This is a smaller system, like I said, 3,000 watts, but how you install this smaller or less expensive system will tell a lot on how you will install one of the big, larger systems. They are basically the same, but just have more power. For all of my solar experts out there that watch this, we are not solar experts, and this is what it's all about. We are learning about solar, and that's the whole purpose of this video, is to let other people that are learning follow us and maybe not make the mistakes that we make. Lord knows we make a few here. I have a background in automotive electric and a little bit of background in residential electricity. This solar stuff is kind of a combination of both of those. If you don't have a background in electricity, I wouldn't let that stop me. There's so much information about this on the internet, and you just need to follow the manuals as far as what size wire diameter. That is a very important thing. You don't want to ever overload the wires. Once this system's put together and we feel pretty comfortable with the whole process, we're going to take this system down and install a much larger system at this location. And the small system that's here will be moved to another location that's going to power our travel trailer or possibly a very small cabin in the woods. We're installing the breaker right here. This is the big breaker between the battery and the actual inverter itself. And it's a way that, you know, if anything goes wrong, that breaker will throw, but it's also a way for you to turn off the power from the battery to the inverter. I was really impressed at how much the individual little parts have went down in cost. Batteries are going to be the biggest cost. I'm going to pipe down for a little bit and let you guys watch this, but if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section. I try to answer all questions and comments that I can. We added these bus bars, positive and negative, and it gives you 3 additional locations to add additional batteries. So we're using some 200 amp or a 200 amp hour 24 volt battery. Well, with this system, we'll be able to add 2 more batteries and give us a considerable amount of reserve power. Before I forget to say it, I apologize for being so nasally. It is the spring and I have hay fever. Keeping it real.
It's kind of crazy, you know, we get out here, you just use what you got. Merlin, yeah, he likes that garden. I just take this off here so that I didn't have the stuff shrink wrap right now, so I just didn't want any of the positive wire hanging out. That's what I was doing. No power, no metal sticking out for right now. I got to get some red shrink wrap and black shrink wrap. Things, because you can easily run your wire in there, but you could actually stick something metal in there. It can be fine, but if we wish to touch something, I may put some like foam across that or something.
Put a piece of tape over it.
Yeah, I might get some red tape, just wrap it.
This system has 3 ways for power to get into the system. One is reserve power stored in the batteries. The other is power that comes in through the solar panels. And the last one is AC power coming in from the grid. You always want to make sure that you have a breaker in between each one of those so you can turn all 3 of them off while you're working on your system. One more time to reiterate this, follow your manual. It's not that hard to do, but if you don't pay attention to the smaller details, you can hurt yourself.
Temporary until we get those little things we got. There's some little foam things that goes over these. The next set of cables have to be the exact same one for the same batteries. Everything has to be the same. So according to everything I read, we can't mix the batteries from like different types of batteries. So this is our red O battery. It's 25.6 volts, as you can see, and 200 amps. We're gonna probably stick with these guys because we want to have the same batteries. We're gonna do 3 batteries and for this system eventually, but we're just testing right now. So this one already has a resistor built into it. Some of the units have a, you have to put like a little resistor and touch the wires together to charge the capacitors inside here. So if you don't do that, it can blow them up. Well, this particular one, it's set. We should be able to just flip this on and then turn it on and it works. So here goes nothing.
You got power.
Just gotta go through and start up the software. All right, so all of these wires are hot here now. This thing is making power. Shows a little AC inverter. We don't have anything hooked up to it just yet, but hey, we know we're getting there. We're getting there. Make sure that you always turn this off before you start to the next job.
These wires have no power in them at this point. We have power coming into the building on solar wires that have MC4 connectors, and then we'll run those through a breaker into this. So there's multiple layers that we can make sure there's no power. You never want to work with raw power coming in on the solar panels. A lot of people think of solar panels as not being dangerous, but in some cases the DC voltage can be strong enough that it can actually hurt you, and worse. Don't let me scare you away from working with solar, because it's pretty simple. You just need to use a good dose of common sense and watch a lot of YouTube videos. There are some really pro channels out there showing you how to do this stuff and giving you a lot better detail than I do.
Get him on the head.
Get him on the head. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. Can I keep throwing things at you, buddy? Alright, let's put this negative one up. I can work with that.
Over the years, solar has become pretty standardized with their tooling. So I'll leave a link to a kit that I've got for my solar stuff as far as hooking the MC4 connectors on. And they're very inexpensive nowadays. You can get a pretty decent quality set of tools off of Amazon for cheap. I have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. If this video is providing worthwhile information for you, do us a favor and hit that thumbs up. And what it does is it tells the YouTube algorithm that this video was worthwhile, and it'll try to show it to a few other people. That helps us, get information out to other people, and it also obviously helps our channel grow. We're installing the MC4 connectors right here, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where things have become very standardized. So if you're interested in the very, very details of how to install an MC4 connector, I've got a video I'll leave a link to.
So this has the putting the female plastic in and on, so that means we have to put the male. I don't know why I do that. It's easier just to do it like this. Put this nail in there. Should feel a little click. Put the rubber piece up. Okay. So this is gonna have the male end on it, which is, and it's gonna have the female metal piece. Click. There's a little rubber grommet in there.
I didn't do a good job of explaining this, but the other red wire is coming out of the wall, which is coming from our solar panels. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm hooking up the positive solar panel cable to the positive inverter cable, and now I'm doing the negative to negative.
We got a lot of excess here for the future endeavors. This is coming out of from the solar panels. So right now we have power going to this breaker. And we'll clean all this up here in a little bit. So when I flip this switch on, all right, that turns power on to from the batteries charging or powering this thing up. So then we're going to flip the switch here. Could be doing it totally wrong. I think this is the right way. I've read it a couple times now. So let it go through its cycle and then start up. We'll let it go through and completely start up. That's the blue eddy back here. This one's not done anything yet. Let's see, what does it say? Ow. It says it's too short here. So right now it's showing output of 120 volts. Input battery is 26.3. So the battery says it's about, I guess that's about 30% charge, 40% charge. Then we're going to turn it on, and it's showing 26.3 volts right here. Input showing 120 volts AC coming out. Obviously there's nothing coming out right now because there's nothing hooked up to it. When I flip this breaker down here, it should turn the solar panels on. You should see a solar panel thing come on right there. Showing solar. All right, it should start showing at some point the battery charging. There it went. So you see the little solar panel going and showing it goes up to the battery. So now it's showing it's charging. I think we can get more information off of the app, but we'll work on that a little bit. All right, I hear the fan come on. I turned the solar off again because I need to make sure that this is set up to charge lithium batteries. And I know there's something to that, but I don't remember. All right, so this is how we're going to set this thing up. Push the set button. This is the escape. 0, 0 is the escape. So you push that again, it comes out. Push up one more time. Now we're going to set here is the output source. SOL is priority or PV priority.
I'm going to skip over this portion and we'll make a full video on this. But at this point, after watching our video that I made, I kind of felt like a monkey trying to learn how to drive a car with blindfolds on. I just wasn't ready to talk about this yet. I didn't have enough knowledge.
All right, the next one is battery type. Sealed lead, vented lead. You know, 119 volts. I wonder if that's adjustable.
Go. Okay, pull back. Okay.
So before we start doing this, we're going to put the main power wires in. Make sure all this is off. So the breakers for the solar's off. If these breakers are on, this thing can still make some power and shock you. And if this breaker is on, it can still energize the inverter and provide you with a 120 volt shock. So I've got the switch off on the unit. All power going into the unit is off. There is no 110 power coming from the grid, so we flip this switch. We're going to turn on the power from the battery first. I'm going to turn on the box. Let it go through its startup cycle. All right. We're going to turn on the breaker for the solar. Everything's checking out at this point. Inverter just come on. Solar's on now. So recognize that the panel's providing power. Everything's working. All right, right now we're going to touch the neutral, and then I'm going to touch the hot here. 119.1 volts. This leg is over here. Shouldn't have anything. I'm going to flip the breaker. $119.7 volts. AC. 60 hertz exactly. 59, 60, 59.9, 60. That's just about as perfect as you're going to get. My goodness. Y'all make fun of me, I don't care. I know there's some way better to do this, I'm sure. But we're getting it done for sure. So I'm gonna turn this back on. And then we're going to turn the breaker on to the RV. Let's see which, obviously this is set up for a 50 amp service, basically two 30 amps going in for your RV, one off of each leg. Right now we only have one leg, so I got to make sure that I get the black leg is the one that we need hot right now. I guess it'd help it with the black leg is hot.
Let me explain myself while we continue to work here. This inverter only puts out one leg of 110 volt, or basically what we call single phase. Most of these small inverters that are all-in-one do the exact same thing, no matter the brand. However, we put in this fuse panel, which has the ability to have two legs, or 220. At some point when we upgrade the system, we'll most likely have two different inverters, and they'll communicate via like an Ethernet cable together, and that will cause them to make two legs of 220 at the proper phasing.
putting that extra wire. So I have 220 over here if I ever need it. But we'll turn the panel back on to make sure that there's any charges left in there that it'll be discharged. I don't think that's the way that works, but everything is turned off. The main breaker, this main breaker is off. The solar coming in is off. The 110 that's coming from the main panel is off. So we should be completely safe to work. It's pretty simple right here. Got ground going in, your line, and then your neutral. So we'll go ahead and this will take up to an 8 gauge wire. We're only using 10 because we're only bringing 30 amps into this.
I promised you guys an update on the sun tracker for the solar panels, and here it is. In the mornings, they are consistently hitting about 70% more power. During midday, they are doing about 5 to 10% more. They have been through several strong storms, as you can see right here. That is golf ball size hail. We have had 2 or 3 really strong storms since the time that we put these in. And the wind has blown hard enough that the panels move back to the safe position. The sun trackers have worked perfectly. No issues to report at this time.
So the air conditioner just kicked on. So now it's pulling in power from the solar panels and the grid, and it's going in charging the batteries and then running the load. Right now, let's see what we got. Putting out about 1600 watts right now. shows the AC. We're using about 14 amps right now.
The Blue Eddy and the All Powers solar generators both consistently show the Harbor Freight panels to go over their 100 watt rating. This is due to the fact that they are constantly aimed at the sun directly. Gold Power inverter also shows that it goes over the rating. In another month, we're going to do a follow-up video where we actually do some real tests, show some real numbers. At a quick glance, I can say that we're going to drastically reduce the amount of electricity that we need for our travel trailer. As long as the sun's shining, basically nothing was coming in from the panel.
With LF08. So enter.